Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you all today? I have no idea why I'm here. Got a weird urge today to talk to the camera, because I haven't done that in a really long time. So I'm trying to be professional about this. I got my blank background thing and trying to make use of sunlight while I can. I've said before, I kind of want to turn this channel into more of a vlog type channel because I don't want to do exclusively beauty stuff anymore. There's just so much of that out there already, and while it's my hobby, I understand for other people it's a business, and people who don't want to just be hobbyists seem to really hate you when you just want to play with makeup and not do it professionally. So I'm just gonna do it for me, which is how I've always done it, and I'm not gonna do it for YouTube that much anymore. So I figured this is now my blog channel. I know I want to do some like follow me around stuff. I've talked to you guys about this before with my food blog. I often get invited to really cool events, so I'm hoping I'll be able to film some stuff. I've got some really cool stuff coming up. But for now, I'm gonna just try doing this vlog thing, and I'm gonna start off with a fun story about my obsession with the British and the time that I met Stephen Fry. My dog is very angry that I'm trying to film today. Are you done? Okay. If you don't know who Stephen Fry is, you should probably Wikipedia and YouTube him because he is the greatest man who's ever lived. He is at the basest level. He is a comedian, but he's so much more. He's a novelist, he's a game show host, he's a humanitarian, he's written Broadway musicals, he's been in high caliber movies, he's been on TV. He's everything I want my life to be. I want to be Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is basically famous for being intelligent. We don't have that in America. We don't have people who, except for like Neil deGrasse Tyson, but that's different because he's like a scientist, not an entertainer. There's no American entertainer who people go, that guy is smart, I want to be friends with that guy. We don't have an American equivalent to Stephen Fry. This is why I envy you Brits so much. Stephen Fry has been my idol since I was probably like a freshman or sophomore in high school. It's hard to explain why that is, but it has to do with the fact that Wilde is one of my favorite movies. It's about Oscar Wilde, and it stars him as Oscar Wilde. So that was kind of my first exposure to Stephen Fry. I then went on to start reading his books and just loving everything there is to love about Stephen Fry. So backing up, I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel before. When I first moved to Chicago, I started working at this comedy theater called Second City, where a lot of big comedians come out of. People like Steve Carell and Steve Colbert, and a lot of people from SNL, like Bill Murray and John Belushi from back in the day. There's people who are more current than that, but I haven't watched SNL in like 10 years on a regular basis, so whoever you're thinking of, they definitely went to Second City. When I first started working at Second City, I was an intern in the front offices, and I was there just a couple of days a week. I was at my real job, which I still am at, and work full-time there now, and I had just gotten off work. It was kind of a crappy day. One of my roommates at the time was having her birthday, but I didn't know where it was, and she was supposed to call me and stuff. I didn't know what was going on, so I decided to go to the gym. I used to have a gym membership, so there. Decided to get onto the floor and commit the biggest sin you can at a gym, which is to take your phone with you onto the gym floor. I don't know why. I think it was because I was waiting to hear from my roommate to see if she was going to text me about her birthday. Took my phone onto the floor, got onto the elliptical, which was always kind of like my big cardio thing. I know it's probably like the worst cardio thing. It's probably why I'm still fat. Started doing my exercises. And my friend, who was also working at Second City at the time, starts sending me texts saying, "Where are you? You need to get here right now. Where are you? Call me." What is going on? Is the building burning down? Because if the building's burning down, then there's no reason for me to go there. Why are you texting me? Just as I reached for my phone to text him back, he started calling. I picked up the phone, very embarrassed at the gym, and said, "Yes." My friend started screaming into the phone, "Stephen Fry is here! You need to get here right now!" I had to take a minute because I didn't actually believe I had heard what he said. Did you say Stephen Fry? Yes, damn it, get to Second City now! Holy crap! I jumped off of the gym floor, had been there probably a total of 5 minutes. Got back to the locker room, splashed some water on my face, put my street clothes / work clothes back on, and ran out the door. So I get the train down to Second City, I find my friend, and I look at the door to one of the theaters that says, "The BBC is filming. If you do not want to be filmed, do not enter." What do you mean the BBC is filming? They do this thing at Second City called The Set, which is where after the main sketch show, they do about 30 to 45 minutes of improvised comedy. Gotten there just in time for the set, which is always free, so that was great. So me and my friend got sat at a table, and I'm sitting there freaking out, not sure if I'm actually about to see Stephen Fry. The lights go down, they come on stage, the regular cast, and these, keep in mind, were my friends. These were people I know and hang out with on a regular basis. So my friends come on to the stage and start doing their funny things. And then one of them comes forward. "We have a special guest tonight. He is all the way from England. Will you please welcome Mr. Stephen Fry?" And all I see is this giant head duck under the archway that was part of the set, and I lost it. Probably started crying, I can't even remember, because I was in such a daze of joy and bliss and happiness that my hero was standing in front of me. We watched the set. He was incredibly endearingly awkward, which was a lot of fun for me to watch. And it turned out the reason he was there was because he was doing this documentary called Stephen Fry in America, where he went to each of the 50 states and did fun things in each of the 50 states that those 50 states are known for. And one of the things he did in Illinois was to go to Second City. So when this documentary was broadcast, they showed bits of the set that he did at Second City. This is the Blu-ray right here. This is, if you watch this and you watch the segment where he goes to Second City, you can hear me cackling like a banshee in the background because I was just so excited that he was there and I was watching him and I was in the same room as him. My laugh has been to England and I have not. That's depressing. Anyway, after the set, he climbs down off the stage and I'm thinking, I can't let this opportunity go by. Stephen Fry is here. I need to meet him. But I'm still so dazed by the fact that my hero is in the same room that I jump off of the kind of elevated part of the audience we were in and end up right behind him in the crush of people to get out the door. My friend who was with me somehow materializes a pen and a piece of paper and shoves them into my hand. But I've now realized that I'm standing directly behind Stephen Fry, who has turned around and is looking directly at my insanely smiling face. It was probably something like that. I can't see through Stephen Fry's eyes, sadly. I had this piece of paper and pen in my hand and am smiling like an insane person at him and did not think to give these to him to sign because my thought was, I want to talk to him and I can't do it in this crowded theater. So we slowly kind of troop out into the lobby area. He goes up to the bar to order a drink and I accosted him. I went up to him and introduced myself and tried to explain who I was and why I was there and that I loved him so much. And in my head, it sounded eloquent and witty and delightful, but what it probably sounded like in actuality was, "Oh my god, my name is Jessica and I'm an intern here and I love you so much and I watch QI on YouTube all the time and I've seen all your movies and read all your books. Will you adopt me?" He graciously smiles at me like the kind, gentle soul that he is and says, "Oh, that's so sweet. I'm sorry that YouTube is the only way that you can watch QI," which it isn't now because I can watch it on BBC America. Thank you, BBC America. I stick out my hand to shake his, shakes my hand with the biggest, softest bear paw of a hand I've ever touched in my entire life. And that sweet man just smiles down on me and says, "Oh, you're an intern? Do you do comedy? Do you perform here?" And I respond with a witty, urbane statement that I'm sure actually sounded like this. "The interns just did a show and we did it upstairs and I would invite you, but it just ended this past weekend. But I have cards in my purse. Do you want one?" And he graciously smiled and continued to engage me in conversation like the sweet man he is until someone else came over and wanted his attention for some random reason. My friend tried to pull me away and I said, "No, we are not leaving until I prove that this happened and that it's not a dream." So I grabbed my phone, which was a very bad quality flip phone at the time. This was like 2008, don't judge me. I didn't have an iPhone yet. And I waited politely until Mr. Fry ended his conversation with the person who butted into my conversation. And I said, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but would you please take a picture with me? And then I'll go. I promise. And he said yes. I shoved my phone into my friend's hand without even turning on the camera. So he had no idea how to access it and is standing there like, Well, I'm standing there with Stephen Fry's arm around my shoulder, grinning like the crazy person, with Stephen Fry standing next to me, and just enjoying the love that I was feeling from him, the paternal love, because obviously he was about to adopt me and take me back to England with him. Meanwhile, my friend finally figures out how to get the camera, and while he apologizes, Stephen Fry leans down and says, "Oh, you know men in technology." And I started laughing hysterically because Stephen Fry just ripped on my friend. Side note, later found out that that is one of his biggest pet peeves, is when people want pictures with him and they're not ready to take them. Sorry, Stephen. So I get my picture, I thank him again, and I go skipping out of the theater. And that is probably one of the best moments of my entire life. I was so happy that day, and I will insert a picture right here. To this day, I think my mother still has that picture on her desk at work because she says it's the most genuine smile I've ever given. It's probably true. That's my Stephen Fry encounter. Hopefully someday there will be more Stephen Fry encounters. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this little story time. I'm hoping that maybe I'll do some more vloggy type things like this eventually. And I hope that you enjoy it. So, yeah. Bye! You know where the subscribe button is.